Hello, this is Timmy Black. Welcome once again to another episode of The Lives of Contemporary Artists. Now, like many of my colleagues in the art world, my political engagement is more or less performative, maybe even a bit shallow and naive, and if not all that, then certainly superfluous. I honestly don't have any access or I don't have the prestige that would allow me greater access or proximity to power. So for me, popping off about the issues of the day is more of a parlor game than an exercise in real solid influence. Now, had I truly made something of myself, had I truly succeeded in my profession, had I acquired great wealth, or had I attained some sort of intellectual grandeur, if I were famous and well connected, my name would have certainly come up in the latest encyclopedic release of these Justice Department documents. But alas, I'm a nobody. Failure has pursued me like a dark shadow. In fact, my unrequited efforts have been so persistent, so predictable, that I began to wonder whether there was some physiological reason for my inefficacy. So to find an answer to this nagging question, I turned to science. I turned to science because science is scientific, and science relies on observable and verifiable scientific facts. Now, one could argue that today, in the year 2026, in the United States, we are in a scientific golden age. Never before has scientific inquiry enjoyed more governmental support. It's truly amazing. Just within the past year, we've learned that cigarettes aren't nearly as harmful as vaccines. That extreme weather events only seem extreme when compared to, say, normal weather events, which are not, as we previously believed, normal in the first place. And most reassuringly, we have learned that within the corridors of power, within the highest echelons of the health department, and extending all the way to the Oval Office, the science of phrenology has finally been rehabilitated. Now, for all you kids out there, phrenology is the study of the bumps on your head in order to analyze your character and assess your mental capabilities. So it was to phrenology where I turned to find out why I was omitted from the Department of Justice files. Luckily, I live in Southern California, a place, I can assure you, where no fad remains unmonetized for very long. So it was very easy, very easy to find a place to get my head examined. I mean, phrenology centers have sprung up all over the place. It seems like every other strip mall, together with a nail salon and a fancy coffee boutique and a donut shop and maybe even a small Pilates place, also now has a phrenology clinic. Now, if you've never visited a phrenology clinic, I highly recommend it. First of all, they're extremely fragrant. For some reason, every phrenology place I've ever visited had a different herbal aroma profile. So you're immediately put at ease. Now, the one I like best, the place where I usually get the best results, the one that has no trouble finding all those subtle depressions and all those hard to find knobby little bumps which seem to indicate my intelligence and my wit. The one where I always leave with a general sense of optimism and renewed self-esteem is on Wilshire Boulevard in West Hollywood. That place always smells like burnt blue stem grass and mandarin oranges. It's beautiful. Anyway, I know all the best clinics in LA because no two offer the exact same evaluation, and I've always been a sucker for a second or a third or a fourth or a fifth opinion. Apparently my forehead and eyebrows are configured in such a way that most phrenologists agree that I am intuitive, stubborn, and resilient. There's one dissenting viewpoint, however. It's a specialist in Beverly Hills who thought that the base of my brain showed that I was extremely linear in my thinking, that I was analytical, but at the same time, I was flexible. Whatever that means. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, everybody that looks at my head seems to love my jaw. And they all seem to agree that my chin is the chin of a true artist. Now, I'm kind of hooked on these phrenologists, or what they prefer to be called around here, cranial contour coaches. My wife thinks I'm out of my mind. But as I often point out, it's cheaper than therapy and a lot less permanent than a tattoo. Anyway, I never really got a straight answer as to why I have been so irredeemably consigned to the ranks of the mediocre. And though I don't appear in any DOJ documents, my name does come up a whole bunch of times in the files of the City of Los Angeles Arts Commission. I mean, don't you love the internet? You can just look your name up. I don't know, some random database, and you can find out how the world sees you. In my case, I did a search for rejected fellowship applications 1993 to 2025, and after scrolling down for about, 2 seconds to the B's, there I was, right there, nestled between 3 Bernsteins and a couple of Blakes. There I was with no less than 33 mentions of Timmy Black. And there, in a nutshell, has been my fate. In years to come, when future historians are writing their books, when our current era is scrutinized and analyzed and recorded for posterity, you can be assured that, much to my enduring shame, the name Timmy Black will never be included among the lives of contemporary artists.